make this video for a couple reasons. One, people on TikTok have requested more information about the Paludarium, and that's really awesome. I'm really glad that everyone's really interested in that. Along with that, when I first got Ari, there wasn't a ton of information for me on fire skinks and their care. There wasn't a lot of good enrichment ideas for them, so I wanted to share this video with a more broad public, something that was easier to access, so that people could have more information on these wonderful little guys. I also want to say this will not be a fire skink care video. I would love to do more videos on fire skink care because there really isn't a ton of information out there on these guys, but for right now, this is just a peek at his enclosure and what I have done to it to enrich it. What I set up for Ari specifically is a bioactive paludarium. Bioactive means that I have invertebrates in here that clean up waste products, and paludarium means that along with his terrestrial side, there's also an aquatic feature present in his enclosure. I do want to say that it is not necessary to have your fire skink in a paludarium, and actually some of them may not like it, and some of them might even drown, so it's something that you have to be very specific about to your lizard. In Ari's case, Ari really liked water, so I knew this paludarium would be okay. I still worried about him drowning, but as you can see, he has really figured it out. The main reason I opted to install a paludarium in Ari's enclosure was because it would help keep the humidity up. Fire skinks require a very hot environment. I mean, it's not super hot, but it's warm, and it really kills the humidity in the enclosure. So by having this water element present, I can keep the humidity up while keeping the temperature up at the same time. Paludarium also allows Ari to soak, and typically I keep guppy fry in here, and it adds a really special something to his tank. It makes it really enriching. He really likes it, I really like it, and I'm so happy that I decided to install this paludarium. If you notice, his water isn't that deep, and that's to prevent drowning, and along with that, there are rocks in the bottom that are too big for Ari to swallow just in case he did decide to eat some of the guppy fry. He has never actually tried to eat the guppy fry, by the way. He seems to be pretty okay with the fish, but it's for my peace of mind more than anything at this point, and honestly, I think the rocks look better and they feel nicer on Ari's skin. I do try to keep this environment as natural as possible, so I've included things like Indian almond leaves, Malaysian driftwood, and lots of plants. In the filter, I have creeping Jenny and some Pothos plants, and by the way, this filter is a whisper filter, and they're great because they work in shallow water super well. I also keep Brazil sword in this section, as well as moss balls. In order to make the retaining wall for the paludarium, I actually just cut up a Rubbermaid container, and then I attached it to the aquarium that I had using Silicone 1 by GE. Silicone 1 is aquarium safe once it is cured for 24 hours. If you use Silicone 2, however, it's very toxic. Please don't use that, you will kill everything. On the terrestrial side, I try to use a lot of leaf litter. I use a lot of driftwood so Ari has hides so he feels more secure coming up onto the surface, because fire skinks really don't love being exposed. They need a lot of coverage. Along with that, I use a lot of this repti bark. The repti bark helps to keep the humidity in the substrate. Humidity in the substrate is actually more important for the fire skink than the humidity in the atmosphere of the enclosure. This is where they spend a majority of their time, and if it's not moist enough or too moist, they will begin to have issues with their skin and with their respiratory tract. I do want to say that my substrate at this time is a little bit too moist, and this is because I just watered the plants. It should just be kind of moist. It shouldn't be sopping wet. This is a little bit too much, and I had to correct this once I stopped filming. Your fire skink will appreciate to have as many hides as they can. This allows them coverage so that they can come up to the surface, they can check out the world around them, they can decide if they want to come up and forage for food, and it can also let them slink away very quickly if things are overwhelming and they don't want to be a part of your household at this time. I have 4 inches of coconut fiber for Ari to dig through because fire skinks like to spend a lot of time in their substrate. The plants in Ari's paludarium have a lot of purposes. 1, they make Ari feel more comfortable, and 2, they soak up the nutrients that the isopods produce, because there are little isopods crawling around this tank, and that's what really makes this tank bioactive. The isopods walk around, they eat some plant matter, they eat some of Ari's poop, they break it down further, and the plants can absorb it. Ari will dig up these plants, by the way, so if you have a fire skink and you have time to do so, I also siliconed in some craft mesh into the form of a box. This craft mesh keeps Ari from digging up the plants, and when I look for him, I don't have to actually take the plants out of the enclosure. It's made it a lot easier to get him, and it's made caring for these plants a lot easier as well.